Hi guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Welcome back to What the Horror, the channel where we talk about horror movies old and new. So, despite it having been out for quite a while now, I've decided to release my own review of Nope, the latest film by Jordan Peele. I finally watched it this weekend and I wanted to share my thoughts on it with you guys. What might make me stand out from other reviewers of Nope is that, and I'm letting you in on a little secret here, I haven't actually seen any of Jordan Peele's other movies, neither Get Out or Us. I know, call yourself a horror fan, but no, I haven't seen either of them yet, and I'm quite grateful for that when it came to watching Nope, because from the handful of reviews that I've read of this movie, people seem to be slightly divided on it, and one of the comments that came up quite a few times was how they didn't feel Nope compared to Peele's previous movies, that it didn't feel as much of a horror movie as they did or as clever as those did. So I'm pleased that I could go into Nope with no preconceptions or baggage from having seen Get Out and Us. Because, spoiler for this review, I really liked Nope. I thought that it was fantastic, and while I always intended to watch Peele's other movies, I'm now really excited to check them out. Alright, let's get into talking about Nope, but before we do, just a heads up that this is going to be a spoiler review. I feel that it's been out a while now, but if you haven't seen the film yet, do come back when you have seen it. Two siblings running a horse ranch in California discover something wonderful and sinister in the skies above, while the owner of an adjacent theme park tries to profit from the mysterious otherworldly phenomenon. So first thing I want to say about Nope is that I absolutely love the whole aesthetic of this movie. Everything about the look of this film, from the horse ranch that's out in the middle of nowhere, the Hollywood sets of the Gordy show and the commercial in the beginning, to the Jupiter's claimed tourist attraction. All of the imagery that goes with that is just so pleasing. Everything ties in really nicely together with the horses, the desert setting and cowboy theme park. Everything has this feeling of gelling really nicely together, but I especially love Steven Yeun's fabulous little red cowboy suit with a bedazzled UFO on the back of it. I need one of those. There's also a really pleasing colour palette where the yellows and sands and stone colours of the desert wide open space that the horse ranch is situated on contrast so starkly with the bright primary colours on the bunting strings and the inflatable wavy men that become such an integral part of the film. There's that line by Antlers, or Michael Wincott, where he's filming their plan unfolding and he says something like, "Look how wonderfully ridiculous that is." I mean, that's not it exactly, but I think that what he says captures the imagery of Nope perfectly. I do really enjoy movies that have that desert town style setting to them, like in Tremors, and I really enjoyed the setting of Nope. I just want to hang out in that farmhouse with OJ and Em, just listening to their vinyl, and I love how isolated they are and the wide open space of the land around them. There's something oddly cozy about it. Nope is just overall an incredibly good looking movie, but it's not really surprising when you learn that the cinematography was done by, now I apologise if I pronounced this name incorrectly, I'm so sorry, Hoyt van Hoytema, who also did the cinematography for movies such as Dunkirk and Interstellar. Like I said before, I've never seen a Jordan Peele film before, but I was still aware that his movies do tend to be full of imagery and motifs, and Nope was certainly no different to that. There are multiple themes that thread throughout the movie. Some are more obvious than others, granted, but so many aspects of this movie tie in and complement each other. Some of the themes that are in Nope are that of spectacle, fame, viewing, looking things in the eye, exploitation of people, and most dominantly exploitation of animals. Eye contact comes up a lot. You have Otis Sr. dying in the first scene because he was looking up at the sky to see what was falling, and he ends up with a coin driven through his eye. The horse Lucky freaks out on the commercial set because he sees his reflection in that reflective ball that's held up, and of course OJ realizes that the sky creature is aggravated by people looking looking at it directly. The movie also highlights exploiting people, especially for entertainment purposes. In fact, the exploitative nature of the entertainment industry is probably the second most common theme running throughout. Jupiter, or Jupe, is this former child star who was mostly cast as the Asian one, which is even addressed by M when she first meets him and recognises who he is. But Jupe then goes on to exploit this film he had to create and market his tourist attraction Jupiter's Claim, where he then exploits, to an extent, his visitors. But the main theme in Nope is that of animal exploitation. You have Haywood Hollywood horses letting their horses be used in movies and TV shows and commercials, where, as we see in the movie, the horses are not treated with respect, aside from OJ, the owner, who warns the people on set not to stand behind Lucky, not to make loud noises and things like that. The horses are also used by Jupe as bait for the sky creature because he wants to make a show out of it and he needs to attract the creature in. And you also have Gordy the chimp being taken from his natural habitat to be used as an animal actor. And of course, Gordy is an animal, and when he ends up being distressed by the loud noises on the set, by the balloons popping, he behaves as an animal would behave when he's scared, and he lashes out. And we also have the sky creature, or alien, or whatever it actually is. It's just minding its own business in its natural habitat, happily munching on a diet of horses. But when Emerald and OJ discover it, they decide to capture its image and make money off of it, just like Jupe wants to. He also wants to financially benefit off of it. I think it's clear that the message to take away from Nope is that animals, especially dangerous and powerful animals, should be treated with respect. I think Stephen Yeun's character of Jupiter is so interesting in this film. He's this former child star who survived an absolutely horrific event and has understandably been left traumatized by it, but who also doesn't seem to have dealt with it very well, or at least in a healthy way. I mean, he's got this collection of memorabilia just hidden away in his office from the Gordy show where he had his traumatic event happen. Jupe also seems to misunderstand why he survived the attack by Gordy. He seems to have some misconception that he survived because he's special, but actually it comes back to that looking at things motif of the film, where Jupe wasn't actually looking Gordy directly in the eye because his vision was obscured by the tablecloth that was on the table he was hiding under. I think Jupe is a pretty tragic character, but then I think that some of the others are too in their own way. Emerald has issues with her dad and her childhood. She even says to OJ at one point when they're hanging out in the farmhouse, "I can't be in this house." She also seems slightly lost in life, just not really knowing what she wants to do. She's looking for fame and success, but not really wanting to work for it. She's just looking for that quick fix. Then you have OJ, who seems to be struggling more with the death of their dad and struggling financially to keep the farm afloat. He's having to sell some of the horses, which he clearly doesn't want to do. And OJ, unlike M, is working really hard, but seems to not be benefiting from any payoff for all that hard work. And then there's Antlers Holst, played by Michael Wincott, who has possibly one of the sexiest voices ever. He has the fame that Emerald wants, but he doesn't want it. He just wants to make his art. He wants to engulf himself in his work and has no interest in the nonsense that goes with it. He's so possessed by his work and the idea of finally getting that impossible shot that he's, spoilers, even willing to sacrifice his life in pursuit of capturing the impossible. But of course the characters wouldn't be quite as enjoyable to watch if it weren't for the absolutely fantastic portrayals by Daniel Kaluuya, Keke Palmer, Michael Wincott and Stephen Yeun. As far as scares go, there was one scene in the film that really got me, well, two I suppose. The main one is where OJ is working one night. He's either in the barn or he goes to the barn to check something. I can't remember which it is, but when he's in the barn and he's looking down into like a really dark corridor and corner, you realise that there's something, or should I say someone, crouching there, hidden in the darkness. It's a short alien that stands up and he just moves in this really really creepy way. And then as you're looking at this alien creature, just out of the corner of your eye, another one just leans its head out of this table that's along the same wall. And honestly, that was a really good scare. That entire scene was brilliant. I actually said nope a couple of times out loud, not even realising or cottoning on. And then OJ said the exact same thing, and I thought, oh yeah, nope. The title. I mean, we find out that it's not aliens, but it's Jupe's 3 children getting payback for the stolen horse statue, but yeah, brilliant scene. The other scene that was less scary and more disturbing was the one where the creature appears at Jupe's show or spectacle, and he just ends up eating everyone there. That whole scene is just, oh man. I mean, you've got Jupe in his snazzy little red suit, and then there's his co-star from the Gordy show, who's sat in a wheelchair, and she has this veil covering her face, and we see her face a little bit later on when a breeze lifts her veil up, and we see that it's scarred and damaged from where Gordy basically ate part of her face. It's funny that she's sat there, this physical example of what happens when you mistreat dangerous animals, when you try to exploit them for entertainment purposes. And yet Jupe is right in the middle of trying to exploit a dangerous creature for entertainment purposes. Humans, we never learn, do we? But the cherry on top is the awful moment where we see inside the creature, and we see all of these people trapped, just screaming for help, and just covered in this gross, sticky looking stuff. It's so claustrophobic. I can understand why some people didn't love Nope. It's a movie that is full of themes and motifs and things on the surface that don't necessarily appear to be linked together. But it is one of those horror movies where I think it invites you to just look a little deeper and think a little harder. And if you do that, then I think it does pay off. Everything in this movie is linked together and makes sense in a wider scale. Of course, you can also be aware of all of the motifs and themes and see how everything links together and still not like the movie, and that's perfectly fine. We all have differing tastes. I have also heard the argument that Nope isn't really a horror movie and that there were people who were disappointed that it was marketed as one, but I personally think it is a horror movie, but it's a horror movie that is mixed in with elements of sci-fi and action adventure. But it certainly has scenes that are scary and even more scenes that are unsettling. As someone who tends to figure out mysteries and killer identities and movie directions, I do appreciate when a movie surprises me, and Nope did that. I hadn't watched any trailers, but when I saw the movie posters of the characters looking up at the sky and the one of the horse being sucked up into the sky, I figured it was going to be alien based, but even going into the movie thinking that, I still didn't expect what actually unfolded in the course of the film. I think it's okay for a movie to subvert our expectations sometimes. Okay, so that's it for my thoughts on Nope. For now anyway, I think I'm going to do I think I'm going to watch Us and Get Out and do an episode where I rank all 3 of Jordan Peele's films and where I can talk about Nope having more perspective on Jordan Peele as a director. Please let me know in the comments your thoughts on Nope. I'm sure there are some who loved it and some who didn't, but I would love to know either way. Let's talk about this movie. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on the next episode. I'm also thinking about doing a truly horror episode on the true story that was obviously part of the inspiration behind the Gordy the Chimp attack, but it really depends on how much of an episode I can make out of that story and if there is any interest in it. So let me know down below if you would be interested in that. But in the meantime, thank you as always for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves and I will talk to you in the next episode. Bye guys.